Close your eyes and picture the heart as a tireless engine that works every second of your life. To keep this engine alive, coronary arteries deliver oxygen-rich blood. As long as supply meets demand, the heart works smoothly. Stable angina begins the moment this balance starts to break. The story starts quietly, often years before symptoms appear. Risk factors such as smoking, high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, and sedentary lifestyle injure the delicate inner lining of coronary arteries. Once this protective lining is damaged, cholesterol particles slip into the vessel wall. The body responds with inflammation, and slowly atherosclerotic plaques are born. These plaques grow over time, thickening the arterial wall and narrowing the internal passage through which blood flows. This is the silent foundation of stable angina. In the early stage, even though the arteries are narrowed, the heart remains symptom-free at rest. Oxygen demand is low, and the limited blood flow is still enough. This is why many patients feel completely normal for years while the disease progresses quietly. The real problem appears when the heart is asked to do more work. Physical exercise, emotional stress, cold exposure, or heavy meals all force the heart to beat faster and stronger. This increases myocardial oxygen demand. In a healthy person, coronary arteries automatically dilate to provide extra blood. But in stable angina, the stiff, plaque-filled arteries cannot widen. Blood flow cannot increase, and the heart muscle is suddenly starved of oxygen. This temporary oxygen deficiency is called myocardial ischemia, and it is the core event in stable angina pathophysiology. Ischemic heart tissue becomes electrically and chemically unstable. It releases metabolic byproducts that stimulate pain-sensitive nerve endings. These pain signals travel through shared nerve pathways to the brain, creating the classic chest pressure or tightness. The pain may radiate to the left arm, jaw, neck, or back because the heart shares nerve roots with these areas. This is why a patient may say the pain feels like a heavy weight sitting on the chest rather than a sharp stab. A key clinical tip to remember is that stable angina is demand-induced ischemia. The arteries are fixed and narrowed, and the pain appears only when demand rises. This is the most tested concept in nursing and medical exams. Once the person stops the triggering activity, the heart's workload decreases. Heart rate slows, contractility reduces, and oxygen demand drops. Now the limited blood supply once again becomes enough. Ischemia resolves, metabolic waste clears, and pain disappears. This entire process is reversible. No heart muscle cells die. That is why cardiac enzymes remain normal and no permanent damage is seen. This reversibility is the single most important feature that separates stable angina from myocardial infarction. A useful memory tip is to think of stable angina as reversible ischemia, while a heart attack is irreversible injury. Another key point is why the pattern is predictable. The plaque size in stable angina does not change suddenly. The narrowing is fixed. Therefore, the same level of activity produces the same level of ischemia and the same chest pain pattern. This is why patients can often tell exactly how much exertion triggers their symptoms. If this pattern suddenly changes, pain appears at rest or becomes more severe. It signals unstable angina, which is a medical emergency. Remember this as the pattern change rule. Stable is predictable, unstable is unpredictable. Special situations also deserve attention, especially those with diabetes or elderly individuals. Nerve damage can dull pain perception. These patients may develop silent ischemia, where oxygen shortage occurs without noticeable chest pain. They may only feel shortness of breath or fatigue. This is clinically dangerous because the warning system is blunted. Another special situation is coronary vasospasm, where arteries temporarily constrict on top of plaque narrowing, worsening ischemia. Cold exposure and smoking often trigger this. Recognizing these variations helps healthcare professionals avoid missing high-risk patients. Understanding pathophysiology also explains treatment logic. Nitrates work because they dilate coronary vessels and reduce cardiac workload. improving oxygen balance. Beta blockers slow heart rate, lowering oxygen demand. Calcium channel blockers relax vessel walls and improve blood flow. Statins reduce plaque size and stabilize artery walls, preventing sudden rupture. Every drug used in stable angina directly targets a step in this pathophysiological chain. When you understand the chain, treatment becomes logical instead of memorized. The final and most important teaching point is prevention. Because plaque formation is slow and progressive, lifestyle changes can interrupt the process. Quitting smoking protects artery walls. Controlling cholesterol prevents plaque growth. Exercise improves vessel flexibility. Managing blood pressure reduces arterial damage. These actions directly slow or even partially reverse the disease mechanism. Stable angina is therefore not just chest pain. It is a carefully ordered chain of events starting from artery injury. It's progressing through plaque formation, leading to fixed coronary narrowing, resulting in demand-induced ischemia, and finally producing reversible chest pain. Understanding this sequence allows nurses and medical professionals to recognize danger early, educate patients effectively, and prevent progression to heart attack. When you grasp the pathophysiology, you hold the key to saving hearts before irreversible damage occurs.